Good morning, YouTube. So with today's video, I'm gonna give you 10 fragrances that scream spring. Now with this video here, guys, I'm gonna give you a mixed match of both niche and designer. Most of these will be niche and there's only gonna be a few cheapies. Most of these are gonna be a little bit more expensive. Unfortunately, with the first one, I can't find my bottle anywhere, but it had to make the list because this is pretty much spring in a bottle. And when you think of spring, well, when I think of spring, I'm thinking of green and florals. First one is going to be Carolina Herrera 212 Men. This is probably the oldest one in this list, perhaps, but this is pretty much just freshly cut lawn. It's super authentic. So what you're gonna get some sage, you're gonna get a little bit of gardenia, so florals. You're gonna get some violet to add a little bit of a powdery undertone, some green nuances, so some woods as well. So you're gonna get like cedar, sandalwood, there's gonna be some vetiver, there's musk, of course. You know, a lot of these fragrances do have musk in them. You're gonna get some different citruses, so lemon, grapefruit, bergamot, and of course, a very nice, energizing, but warm ginger. So what it pretty much is, green, so think of a, okay, this is just kind of weird because it's just coming to mind, but like a green field that's just freshly mowed in the forest. That's what you're pretty much gonna get. This is just the epitome of casual. This is like an everyday fragrance, like school and work. This is gonna be older than some of the students out there, but I do think that a young man can rock this. Absolutely no problem. Longevity, from what I remember, and I believe that my bottle is reformulated, I get about 6 hours. The original, I think, was like 10 hours. Regardless, it's not that bad. Next fragrance, this is definitely the epitome of spring in a bottle, and I am the self-proclaimed Bond bitch. But this one here, I plugged Bond number 9 a lot. Not really in the last year all that much. I just kind of like, I don't want to say I avoided them, but I guess maybe I've just kind of moved on to a different brand. I have a tendency of doing that, but I'll always be known as the Ferrari guy. But number 2 is going to be Bond number 9's Gramercy Park. This is the epitome of spring. Now you're gonna get like lily of the valley, there's grass, there's ivy, cyclamen, a little bit of woods, and definitely some musk. It is a unisex fragrance that leans a little bit more towards the ladies, and from here there is a little bit of a soapy clean aspect to it. Maybe not on skin, and it's been a little while since I've worn this, but I do remember that this is definitely spring in a bottle. It's just casual. It's like an everyday fragrance, very much like the Carolina Herrera 212 Men, but this is a little bit more, maybe a little bit more classy. You know, like with Carolina Herrera, you can wear it with a suit and tie, but like to work, not really a semi-formal fragrance. This does have a little bit of a casual vibe as well, but I do think that you can wear this with a suit and tie if you're a modern day gentleman, but like a lady itself can rock this every single day. And for me, I picture Sunday brunch, church, like a Sunday fragrance when I smell this. It's really nice, and longevity is going to be about 6 to 7 hours. Number 3, let's go back to a designer, and that's going to be Carbon Low Intense, or Intense. This has very energizing and uplifting mint. The mint in this is super green. There is going to be some ginger that does energize it, some lavender, some birch, some cedar, a little bit of cardamom, and of course your typical citrus, because a lot of these mint fragrances and ginger do have that typical citrus. So whether it's like bergamot, grapefruit, or lemon, you are going to get that citrus core. So it's just green, herbal, energizing mint and ginger, so they both energize this fragrance. That warm, spicy of like cardamom, and of course the ginger, so it does warm it up as well. But fresh lavender, citrus, a little bit of woods as well. This is really, really nice. And again, I've repeated myself when I've talked about this fragrance. The only reason why I know about this one is because of Coach Rob 619. So when he came up here to Toronto, he really wanted to get a bottle. Got it for a good price, I guess. Got mine even better because I got this for 30 bucks, Rob. And when I tagged him, he's like, holy shit, man, you pretty much stole it. So I got a great deal. But this fragrance does have a little bit of class to it. You know, a little bit of a mature vibe. This will go great with a suit and tie, whether it's for work or a daytime semi-formal event. But you can also wear this with a white t-shirt and jeans. It's a pretty versatile fragrance, and longevity is about 7 hours. Number H24. This one just did not get a lot of mention, or I should say a lot of love, I should say, but you know, I enjoy it. Adz H24. This is a spring fragrance. It's a little bit herbal and a little old school because of the clary sage. It's heavy in clary sage, but it also has narcissus. So the narcissus does add a little bit of a yellow floral vibe to it. There is polysander rosewood or some sort of rose and something else. This is a gentleman's fragrance with a bit of a mature vibe. I think that someone who's 30 and up would appreciate this more than someone who's like a younger man. You know, it's a very versatile fragrance. Dressing it like this or something a little bit better. If you wear this with a suit and tie, you're gonna be shining. This is pretty much like, for me, a work scent. This is like an everyday scent, but it has a bit of an office vibe. But you can easily wear this to a daytime semi-formal event, and longevity, you're gonna get about 6 to 8 hours. All right, now number 5, this is probably more summer than anything, but there is a note, and that's gonna be white florals. So I don't know if it's gardenia or if it's jasmine, but there is a heavy white floral vibe in this one here. Montal Soleil de Capri. So I almost had a brain fart there. But this is more summerish because it's got like kumquat, it's got like 2 different citruses, musk, a little bit of spices, but it's that white florals that makes me feel like this could really be used as a spring fragrance. Not like early April, okay? Like when it's like maybe late April, early May, when it starts to warm up a little bit. This is casual. In some ways, it's kind of like this, but this is gonna be a little bit more versatile in my opinion. This does have a bit of a weekend vibe, you know, a bit of a Sunday brunch in some ways, but it's also a little bit more for a mature person, someone who's a little bit older because of the white florals. Now, is it old lady white florals? Not in my opinion. It's really citruses, then it's going to be the white floral itself, then like a musky base. So there's not really a whole lot of spices in all honesty, but it's more musk towards the base. I personally really enjoy it. I think that this was my first Molotov that I've ever talked about on my channel, but this is a brand that I've really been starting to get into. Longevity, you're gonna get about, well, it's Montal. Montal, it tends to be beastly, like 10 plus hours, but you're gonna get about 8 to 9 hours. So you really can't complain for a summer, spring fragrance, really. Next one is gonna be from the brand of Dsquared, and that's gonna be Wood. This is very spring-like. Lots of citrus, but lots of woods. And there's also vetiver to this one here. So you are gonna get ambroxan, white woods, whatever that is, but woods. It's a very woody fragrance along with the vetiver. Violet leaf, that does add that very aromatic touch. Lemon, bergamot, mandarin, and a little bit more. What it pretty much is that it's, again, a very aromatic fragrance with a load of woods and citruses. This is very much just spring. And for me, this kind of reminds me of like as to where I went hiking today. So like it's actually Friday, my wife is in. She actually touched down in New York City, so I couldn't go to the wedding this weekend. But I did take the day off because a bit of a shit show yesterday at work. Oh my God. But this reminded me as to where I went earlier today. So the Credit River. So I was just hiking along the river, just decompressing, getting my morning exercise. And it's just, well, watery, not this, but just the woods. Just like that earthiness that I was smelling and everything. That's what this kind of reminds me of, without the citruses, of course. But this, just an everyday fragrance that's really just good for work. You know, if you want to wear it to school, by all means, but it does have a little bit more of a mature touch to it, but just every day. This is like 40 bucks or less. A lot of people just don't really talk about the brand. Like, they do produce some pretty solid fragrances. Unfortunately, the ones that they produced like over 10 years ago, those are the classics that everybody wants back, but this is actually not bad. And you're gonna get about 5 to 7 hours with this one here. Next one, let's go with a niche one. And this brand really just isn't really talked about, unfortunately. And I do think that they produce some really good fragrances at an affordable price tag if you get them on the gray market. But that's going to be Atkinsons Posh on the Green. This has a little bit of an old school vibe that's modern, but it does smell a little traditional. This is very fougere-like, even though lavender is not a note. There is something that makes this super aromatic and just very fougere-like. But you are gonna get galbanum, mint, vetiver, cedar. Not sure if that's lemon or whatnot, but there's also petitgrain. So just classical, somewhat barbershop-ish, but for a mature gentleman. Someone who's a little bit polished, maybe a little old school in their way of thinking, their mannerisms, that sort of bit. You know, for me, this is manners maketh man. Kingsman. That's something that a lot of people in society, including myself at times, that are missing. Just general manners. And trust me, I see it every single day when I go to work. But this, great suit and tie, but if you're gonna dress it down, something maybe business casual. Longevity, you're gonna get about 7 to 8 hours. Next one, this one just does not get a lot of mention, and it's from a brand that kind of is known for poor longevity. This one is not bad. I get about 5 hours, but that's gonna be Artisan from Barbados. I'm not sure if it's Artisan XX. This is pretty much just a very aromatic fragrance with a very clean vetiver. If you like vetiver fragrances, this is one that you're gonna like. Now, I just gotta state it, it's not like, what is it, Lalique? Encre Noir, that's it, Lalique, I think it's Lalique Encre Noir. It's not like in your face, vetiver, woody like that. Oh God, no, this is a lot more mass appealing. There's geranium, there is wormwood, I believe it is, a little bit of citrus, some musk, some bitter orange, and some Szechuan pepper to kind of like warm it up a little bit. But just like an everyday fragrance that is perfect for work. It's just an everyday fragrance. You know, if you want to wear it to school, by all means, but I think that someone who is late 20s and up would appreciate it more than someone who is just like early 20s. You know, if you're looking for compliments, this is one that's not going to get you any, because like, again, performance, 5 hours, not bad. 5 to 6 hours. Projection on this is not the best. So this is pretty much a fragrance for yourself and not for everybody around there. Fragrance number 9. Some people say that this is more of a summer scent. I think it's a little bit too heavy for the summertime, unless it's a summer night out where it's cooler, but this is a very masculine fragrance. To my nose it is, and that's going to be Bottega Veneta's Illusion. Now this has some citrus. It's got a little bit of lemon and bergamot, but it is really overpowered by the woods. You're gonna get cedar, vetiver, and like fir, pine, Douglas fir extract, something like a very piney sort of tree. This, for me, is a little old school, a little masculine, but at the same time, just like, where is it? No, not, maybe in some ways, but kind of like this. This is green, this is not. You know that the juice is kind of green. It just has a bit of an old school vibe that's modern, but it just has more of a mature feel. So someone who's a little bit older, not old man mature. But so if you're in your 20s or you're like your early 20s and you like it, then by all means, please wear it. Wear what you want. This is like what I say is definitely not facts. And I'm just gonna say it out there. This is a little bit of shade. Even some of the female influencers that are like really hot, what they say is not fact as well. Try it out for yourself. You may disagree with whoever is on YouTube, okay? We're not professionals by any means. I don't care what anybody says. But this for me is perfect with a suit and tie. A nice well-tailored suit for work, daytime semi-formal, and even like an evening out. I feel like there's a little bit of like pepper to it, but yeah, maybe it's that Douglas fir extract. Fir resin, according to Fragrantica, whatever, but it's just an overall very woody fragrance with about 6 to 7 hours of longevity. And last but not least, let's go back to the brand of Bond number 9, and that's gonna be Highline. A place that I haven't seen since 2013. Oh my Lord. So next time I go to New York City, which is probably gonna be in December, I'm gonna have to check it out. But this here is definitely, where is it? It's not like the Gramercy Park. It's not like this one here. They're both green, very spring-like, but this is a little bit more of a soapy floral type of fragrance as it has hindsight. There is rose, African orange flower, so there is more florals than this one here, because when I went to the Highline, it had like a lot of gardens. That's what this is. There's gonna be rhubarb and that green grassy accord. So florals and grass, that's what this is. So just everyday casual. I think that this would be a great work scent for either genders. It does lean more towards the ladies, of course, because of the florals. And it also has pink tulip, which I don't really get. I do get the white florals and that hindsight, but for me, I really enjoy this one. Just the epitome of spring in a bottle. And longevity, this is gonna be about 6 to 8 hours as well. And guys, that is 10 fragrances that just scream spring. So if you like this very video, and if you like the cheesiness, I know, hey, listen, when you get older, I've always been cheddar cheese, but as I get older, I tend to get more cringier, but it is what it is. I'm happy with that. And if you're happy with the video, please leave me one of these, as it really does help with the channel and the algorithms. Any reviews that I've talked about on any of these fragrances, they will all be down in the description box below. And because of this is a spring fragrance list, both niche and designer, I'm gonna give you niche and spring right there. So I thank you for your time, take care, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching, everybody.